Carl, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on because in my eyes, you are somebody who's a creative person, a curious person. You question things and you don't just take them kind of at face value. And so I'm really excited to kind of hear a little bit more about the inner workings of your brain and what it's like to be a creative person, and sometimes the challenges that can kind of come, with that. So how do you explain when people ask you, what do you do? How has that evolved over the years? Because we talked on Ms. Unfiltered and, 7-8 years ago, you were in a different place, different focus maybe. Now, how has that iteration evolved into like saying, when you're at a cocktail party or whatever, how do you get it across in a way that people are like, oh, okay, I get what this guy does?
Yeah, I haven't been invited to a cocktail party in a while.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know why I used that one.
Well, it's good. It's good. I'm imagining right now what yeah. I'm at a cocktail party. What am I doing? Okay, here I am. I'm walking up to this person and they're asking me, okay, what do you do?
Yeah.
The answer is simple. At this moment, if I had to label myself, I label myself as a teacher. A few years ago, I would have said coach. Years before that, I would have said scientist. Years before that, I would have said gymnast. So I've gone through iterations. And right now, the reason I'm a teacher is because I see myself as somebody who is simply observing and pointing and saying, look here, look there, look at that. And the reason teacher resonates with me is because a teacher is the one who is able to point at that which the student needs to see in order to extract the information from themselves, the understanding from themselves, in order to continue to evolve. So I'm simply pointing. And the reason this is interesting is because when I'm pointing, it doesn't really matter what I'm pointing at, because there's always somebody who needs to see it. And one of the reasons this also evolved into me saying I'm a teacher is because when I was coaching movement, it made more sense to say I'm a coach within the fitness movement space because there was a performance to it. It was performative. But as I transcended into lifestyle, I started thinking about myself as a life coach. And I realized, oh, that label simply doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't sit with me. I think there are a lot of life coaches who do great work. But I also think a lot of life coaches need a life coach,
right.
so to speak. So I'm like, well, I need a life coach. I don't think I should be one. So what am I really? Well, I'm a life teacher.
I love that.
And that's all I do. I just simply point at that which I'm studying. And as I point at that which I'm studying in life and people look at it, they say, oh, I didn't even realize that existed. Thank you. And all of a sudden, a little discussion starts and information crystallizes. And that's the beauty of what I do.
Yeah, the reason I ask you that is because you're somebody who I think a lot of coaches or trainers, when they look at you, and at least I can speak for myself, I admire the types of things that you're exploring and that you're curious about and that you're teaching. And, it can be sometimes tough when you're, I guess, going from, if you are also curious about those things and you want to talk about those things, but you feel like you're the performance guy or in the movement space, or this is your specialty. It sounds like coach to teacher, like teacher gives you a little more freedom to observe and notice and point things out that are connected and maybe not connected. Versus coach, how would you differentiate? Is the coach the difference is that they're giving you an action plan or a strategy versus letting you come to the conclusion?
The coach is outcome focused. The teacher is process focused. And this is, of course, not taking away from how much coaches do focus on process and prioritize that. It's just the I can't find the best words to really describe this, but there's an energetic charge on titles that if they don't match your personality or your current state of expression, you shouldn't be in them. Yeah. It's kind of like when you become president of the United States, that title holds a charge, an emotional charge. It represents something. And when we hear a word like coach, there's something that comes up. You maybe think about, some person with a cap on and a whistle, or you think about sport and you think about competition. When you think about teacher, you think about somebody who's at a whiteboard, maybe, breaking something down. It holds a different type of mental context. And it's important to realize that when you put yourself in a title position, that you're going to be interacted with according to the history and energetic value of that title. That's why a lot of people love having letters behind their names. It's kind of like, Carl Paoli, PhD. I don't have a PhD, but maybe that feels good. And in the academic ladder, if I'm a PhD, I'm going to be recognized as somebody who has done something.
Yeah. And I, the way that you approach, I would say, lifestyle design, or anybody who chooses to approach lifestyle design or going against kind of the status quo of like how we should do certain things, you can be kind of the odd one out, right? Especially if you're looking at mainstream, and of course there's this comparison. If you're comparing yourself to everybody else, you can seem like the odd one out. What's your relationship like with that feeling? Are you pretty confident and comfortable in what you do? I'm sure maybe at this point, but in the past, when you didn't feel like there was this flow, did you feel like you were fighting against the grain at any point?
Yeah, all the time. Anytime I leaned into that which was really true to myself, and those around me who weren't used to seeing that side of me noticed, I would get pushback from them. And the pushback that I would get would make me believe that what I was showing was not good enough or incorrect. So I would hide it a little bit more. Eventually, life just collapsed, and I said, well, I have nothing other than this. So I have no other option. And now the more I do it, the more I share it, although sometimes I sound like a fool and I don't know what I'm talking about, or I'm caught in my own bullshit and I'm projecting that onto others. I still know that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So even though I do feel like the odd one out, and at the moment, I'm not going to lie, I'm struggling to make this work, at least there is one person out there, two people out there who are listening and saying, wait, there's something here. He hasn't arrived yet, but there's something there and I want to know more. And each person who chooses to interact with me allows me to see a little bit more clearly and be courageous enough to try to do the thing that will better resonate with others in terms of pointing as a teacher.
Yeah. And it seems like appreciating the process is something that, and the evolution or the self-discovery or the not knowing is sometimes not as appreciated as the, hey, this is what it is. And in terms of, let's say, like marketability, right? And what maybe, I guess, some of our brains can get drawn to. How do you think you just attract a certain type of person when you have this, when you have kind of this, like, you're discovering along the way and you're pointing and observing and you're bringing people along for the ride? Do you attract people similar to you and kind of they're on your wavelength? How do you handle the, like, previously you talked about the curiosity and staying connected, but how do you handle it from in a business perspective, maybe, where it's like, this is what I love, this is what is valuable and I think can help people. And then how do I communicate that in a way that, like you said, is palatable? Like life coach wasn't, but maybe interface that term, brings something that resonates with you and other people.
Yeah, like the term interface is very mechanical. If you know anything about interfacing, you know it's like a keyboard mechanically that allows you to interface with your computer, a mouse, a widget on your phone to access an app. That's an interface. It's a very mechanical thing. So when you show people a mechanical opportunity, people feel safe latching onto it. Like they can, okay, let me anchor into this. This is fine. I can see some practicality out of this. But what is interesting is that in my at least my intellect believes this, that I'm attracting completely opposite people to myself. I'm nothing like the people who are coming to me. So I want to believe. But the more people come to me, I notice, oh yeah, I am you. So whatever I'm attracting, I have inside of me, and it's helping me notice that. As I notice that which is inside of me, it's enabling me to be able to talk about how we interface with ourselves through our bodies, for example, in a more relatable way. And when it comes to business, which is simply the management of a system, an organization, a method, right now, if the blood supply, so to speak, is cash, is money, the way I think about money is as an exchange, as a transactional record that is putting a temporary value onto something that is fair, accountable, and confirming, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And making money off of being a teacher, what it does is it allows me to teach more. So if I am of value and I can make more money, generate more money, I can teach more in ways that are more accessible. And that's the beauty of teaching, is that maybe there's a high price point here, but over time the cost goes down. And as the cost goes down, the value also goes up. And that is extremely powerful when you're able to paint that picture for people. And yeah, that's part of the work that I'm currently doing and the way that I'm articulating my teachings.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about, because meditation is something that you're going to be exploring in the workshop that you're doing, and that is something I resonate with heavily. I've tried different types of practices and forms of meditation. The one that I am enjoying a lot at the moment is TM, and I read a book called Strength in Stillness by Bob Roth. And I think he has this like radio show or something on Sirius that's called Success Without the Stress. And I thought that tagline is just so catchy, because meditation can kind of give you a taste of that feeling where you mentioned earlier, like in flow, things are flowing, things are happening. Even maybe tough obstacles and things come in your way, you're viewing them a little bit differently. You're able to keep moving forward without maybe debilitating stress. Like there's going to be stress present, I'm sure, and maybe your opinion is that there are times where we really expose ourselves to it. But what's your relationship with meditation and stress and achievement? How do those things kind of correlate for you?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, but let's start with meditation. Meditation is reflection. Reflection is the ability to live in awareness. It's becoming aware that you are aware. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. The beauty of becoming aware is that you are in space, and there's always more space than things that are in space. So there's always more room for you to be, grow, achieve, create, then there are things already in there. So possibilities are always there. So that's kind of number one. You were talking about transcendental meditation specifically. That's the one that gives you a mantra. So you have a mantra that you speak. It's words in Sanskrit. A mantra is the word mantra in Sanskrit is man is mind and tra is release. It's release of the mind. So when you speak your mantra, what you're doing is you're speaking a release of the mind. What a mantra does, not only through the word that you're speaking or reciting in your head over and over again, is giving you a focus. A focus is the anchor for stillness. What happens with our mind is our mind tends to deviate away from that focus. When we notice that we've deviated away from the mantra, from the breath, from the thing that we're focusing on, and we choose to return, that's the moment that we are practicing. It's returning to the focus. The focus of stillness is the one that gives us the door. That's the key that opens the door to awareness. Awareness being the space, possibilities, opportunities. So you and I, what we've done during this conversation is within our 15 minutes of conversing, we have practiced meditation. And the way that it's worked is that our focus is to simply stay in communication, adding some sort of value through the process, but we're limited in time. Thus, we let go of more topics than the ones that we hold on to.
Yeah.
Because you're limited. You're limited in time. So meditation is accepting that you're limited in this body, you're limited in this reality, but internally you have an infinite number of possibilities. And whether you choose to interact with them or not, they're always there. All those topics that came through your head as we were talking, questions, potential options, they're all there. And you didn't have to reach for them because you chose to reach for one. And that becomes the show all of a sudden. That's the meditation. When we take meditation and we are able to see all the possibilities, the way that it relates to achievement or to success or to progress is knowing that you can choose other options. And even if you don't choose other options, somebody else can do that and you can collaborate with them. And now all of a sudden you're creating a highway with several lanes, all going in the same direction. Maybe they're going in the direction of mental health. Maybe they're going in the direction of making more money so we can assist more people in having better mental health. Maybe it's an organization or a company like Tesla saying, our mission is to accelerate the implementation of electric cars. Thus, all our patents are open so everybody in our competition can take them on. I need to make this company work in order to the mission to be fulfilled. That's meditation related to success or progress or achievement.
I really like that. It's like, let's say if you're sitting in one spot, actually meditating, saying a mantra, focusing on your breath, and you're getting kind of that anxious feeling that comes up where it's like, oh, I gotta do, this thing. I've heard that like stress is basically kind of wanting to be in two places at once sometimes, right? So in that first space where you're sitting down, it's accepting that I'm here. The thought is whatever the thought is, and you're kind of just following along with that. Here in this conversation, it's the thread that we're kind of pulling on and following. Yeah, so that's a really interesting way to put it. How is that showing up in your workshop that's coming up?
Yeah, that shows up immediately because people, before they even start, they already have an idea of what the outcome is going to be. Mm-hmm. They're here, we're just starting, but they're already thinking about being there. And that is a disappointment. The moment there's a disappointment, the way that I approach this is that is your dissatisfaction. I don't care if you're dissatisfied or satisfied, as long as behind it, there is empowerment and not disempowerment. And the way that we see empowerment is by simply, like you said, accepting that we're here, we're not there, we're here, and that this right here is all you need. Like, see the value right here. That's appreciation. Appreciation is like the value of a home going up over time. Appreciation is noticing the potential and just living in that potential and being like, okay, I have faith, I trust that by doing this, something positive, some value is going to come out. And without holding on to what it could look like, just allow it to be a surprise. And that being awesome in itself. And when I say awesome, I mean awe, like to be in some awe. Wow, I didn't expect that, but that was positive. And one of the main reviews that I've received from this interface workshop is, this is the workshop I didn't know I needed.
Those are the best.
Amazing. And here's the thing. I'm not even the guy that does it. It's like they're doing it. I'm simply sharing some ideas and reflecting them. So it's cool. I get to witness the same thing.
It's really powerful stuff, man. Tell us like the deadline for it and where can people go if they want to take part in this?
Yeah, it starts March 2nd. The deadline is March 1st for registration. You can find the sign up link in my social media channels. And you can also email me at carl@freestyleconnection.com if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to connect.
Well, Carl, again, thank you so much for coming on. This was a really fun conversation and an extension to the Ms. Unfiltered episode. So yeah, I appreciate you coming to the table and exploring these ideas with me today.
Yeah, thank you for making it happen. I'm excited to continue our conversation in the future.
Likewise.